It's a good start, lucky to hear. Okay, there's no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich. Aye. Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
All right. Have a report from the superintendent.
We continue to stay very busy with this water project. Daily, I've been working with Cassell with ongoing issues or questions. We've been shooting all we can shoot with our GPS, all the forks, valves, curb stops, utilities, where the utilities cross, try to capture this data so when everything is buried, all our main lines, valves, to stay here, we have it basically for as-built after, the more regular stuff is. This is keeping us very busy on a day-to-day basis. It's very challenging. Right now, we're in the install mode of our meters. This week here, we haven't done too many. We're trying to get some pitch-up stuff done. We have about 50 shut-offs that are broke off the ground that we've been slowly digging and fixing. I think I'm down to probably, the ones that know I'm probably down to 30-something right now, but it's going to be a while before we get them all finished up. We've had one crew doing basement installs, and another one doing meter pit installs. So this is going to continue. As far as the pipeline crew right now, there's a crew on the West Service Road. That's Castell's crew, and they're still hammering rock. They're in the ledge where they did blast. Some of it wasn't blasted deep enough. We're headed towards the border. They're still installing there. Turners here, they did do the bore under the West Service Road. They still have to ream it bigger. They weren't here today. I think they stopped on Friday, but they should be coming back up to open that up.
Truck provided this afternoon.
Did it? It wasn't there earlier. They have another crew on Route 11 down near between, just on this side of the Hayford Road, they're in rock there as well. They're pounding rock there, doing the install. And they have a third crew that started today on Eden Lane. We took a while to the electric and utility fiber there. So they did do the tie-out today. They got the hydrogen. Tomorrow they'll keep moving up Eden Lane to get that line in. Once they get the line in, I think there's one service up there that people have no water, so they're going to try to get them hooked up. I believe from there they're going to move over. I got the approval today for East Street. So East Street is open. The new line is open, so they'll be, once they're done Eden Lane, they'll move over to East Street and do the tie-ons. They have a couple of them do Woody's house, it's still in the old line. The two houses across are still in the old line. They're going to keep it tie in, and then they're going to discontinue cut and cap the old 4-inch line that went up through there. As far as installs for us, we've got probably 125 done. I still got probably 400 or 500 to go, so we're about 20% probably, but things are starting to come together here. We screened some more topsoil, did a bunch of brush trimming. Our sand was all hauled in. Our salt and sand is mixed for the winter. Our shed's full, so not that we're looking to use that anytime soon, but when the time comes, we should be ready. I know we still have to put a new chain in our sander box, but we'll do that here as we get time, or we get some days that it isn't operating. Anyway, we've been pretty good, darn good summer here. We really used too many days to rain, so. Flowers have been removed. Most of them were hit by frost, and we left a few out, and the other day we were finishing trying to pick them up. If I have not stopped at your house yet or left a note on your door to call me to schedule an appointment to install new meters, you should see me in the near future. We will continue installing meters and digging and repairing curb boxes. If you see flags in your yard, please don't remove them. If you have to mow, you can move them, just make sure you put them back in the exact location. And if you see a white flag or paint in your yard, this indicates that we'll be digging that to, chances are we'll be digging it to fix your shut-off probably doesn't work, we're gonna have to dig it to repair it. We occasionally get a cancellation from a homeowner that we scheduled for a meter replacement. They forgot and were coming or they're not home. We try to fill in a spot with another homeowner. If you have a home that we can access your meter at any time, or if you're usually home during the day, please call the office and leave your number so I can return your call. If I get a cancellation in the schedule, then I can use your residents to as a fill-in. This way we don't have a dead spot. It's been pretty good so far. We've only had a few, and we're still early into it. As it gets later, it's going to be tougher because there'll be less people to choose from to get in and get the meters put in. But things have been going real well for us. So if you want to call here, please do, and thank you in advance. Also, I don't have on here, hydrant flushing. We're going to be doing that October 24th. The week of October 24th, we're going to start our hydrant flushing. Next week, next Monday, yeah. I was going to push it to November, but I'm still on application, so I'm thinking we're going to get it done now. If the weather does turn, then we'll have issues, use-ups, and plus it's going to change. It's going to take us probably a little longer this year. Things are going to change a little bit probably. I'm going to look into it this week because we have a few lines that are open we didn't have before. So as far as our valve sequences, I did order a gauge today. Also, we had a gauge for checking flows. We need to keep track of the flows as far as when we're flushing. We're kind of getting an idea how many gallons a minute we're putting out. We can time it. We try to keep track. This we also need for flushing for the health department, so we know we're getting a proper flow or draw through our line. So you may see some discoloration. You may see some pressure fluctuations. That's common. So if you have any questions, you can always call the office here. I'd be glad to answer it for you. That's really all I have right now.
Okay. Questions from it? These guys are right on straight.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for
Well, and
looking
I'm
at.
hoping to get with this week here. We're hoping to get a bunch more lines signed off. East Street came in today. We submitted that one. We did a full test this morning. I think we had 1,120 gallons a minute down by the end, so it was finally to flush that. The rail bed tests may come back today, or they may have came back this afternoon or tomorrow. Once they have them back results, then they'll send it with a completion report to the health department. So I'm hoping this week the rail bed will be, the new rail bed line will be completed. If it is, we'll be good to go.
Will just like that temporary line up there?
Yeah, their line's already hooked. We already buried it. It's already hooked to the house over there. I just have to, once we get an okay from the health department, I'm going to flush their lateral. I want to flush that line because someone's been sitting for, a week or whatever, and then we'll get them hooked up, get that line. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have one thing I forgot to mention, in my report is, I got a bill, September 2nd, which I needed, well, it was after that, but after what I needed to pay, it was PERMA. We had an additional $977 for our 2015 audit, payroll audit. Okay. It goes on your payroll, that's everything you just yeah, so when it comes to our payroll this year, to pay this, we might be a little bit short because of that. Not much you can do.
Need a motion to approve that, Ryan?
No, that's already been,
Okay.
I just got you, that to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Not really.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
We would rather just not know.
Just trying to figure it out.
We only have one correspondence this month. We can see how busy Julie has been for the numbers here. Number of households receiving services, the number of trips she scheduled. And unfortunately, next month that number will go up. In December it will go up even more. Okay, full business. I think it's time, at least for now, to remove the Champlain Memorial Library from the old business column until we revisit it as the library gets itself moving a little bit with the new board, and we'll come back with discussions. I think Mr. Rowe said something about a year or so. They would come back and reignite the discussions with the library, so we can remove that. Purchase of blowers. I just received material from Bernier and Carr Friday with a variety. There were actually two more companies that provide blowers for wastewater plants. This, I want to tell you, warning, it's going to be an expensive proposition. If you remember the figures from, 4 years ago or 5 years ago?
They haven't done that?
No, they haven't done that. But we are looking at a couple from one company that will provide the services we need at an economical cost. And I think if that's, once it goes out to bid, obviously, we may be able to save ourselves some money in that direction. If you remember last time you only had one bidder, and it was a very confusing, mixed up deal. And we chose not to go ahead with it because of the price. This is going to be pretty close to that. In fact, next month I will come back to you with some figures that we would like to see put in reserve. I think at one point, I think you and I Mike talked about putting money aside so that we get a revolving fund for a little over 35 years or so. It's much less expensive, much more economical to replace these parts. After 5 years, you get a new machine for minimal cost.
So you're gonna have to put some money in the new machine.
Yeah,
Even though it's
and that's coming up soon, I think, the tires and.
yes.
So that's just one. I have a number of ideas that I would like to present to you. I'll do it next meeting, that we can put some money in reserve. We have to deal with the general fund balance. If that's one thing that I learned last Tuesday, is that we have to do something with that.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, you can use these reserve funds. They need to be used for a purpose, as a means of children money. So the fees, we have real purposes, not spent. And I can ask them, can we get back to you on these this other type of technology for these blowers?
Yes, I just got that on front.
Okay.
I shared it with Woody. He's on vacation this week, but he said he would look the stuff over. It's on the computer if you want it. You won't have to run your copy.
Yeah, please.
And we still have the new ones the last time we did it somewhere, so we can look at the different specifications and compare apples and see. Okay, new business. Bid openings for new doors and windows. Tom, closures.
Alright. Okay, provided you with, kind of a summary. This is what, let me give you a copy of that. That's my request. What you see on the bottom of your summary is the number of contractors that the job request went out to. And, it's nice to see that a lot of them replied and would have loved to work, but they're scheduled way into next summer and no way they could fit us in. So we ended up, thought we were going to have 3 bids. One did not come in, so we ended up with only 2 bids to look at. So what you see in that summary is the top bid, bid number 1. Those window specs were what they provided. What I did was when I asked for any specifications, my intention was to make sure that we got a top of the line window within whatever brand of window these guys wanted to quote us. I didn't feel it would be right for me to say I want this specific brand window because everybody uses different suppliers. It worked out pretty well. As you can see, both windows are very comparable to the specs. The specs are in the right column to what I had requested. I think if you look at them very closely, you'll see that the one window is a little bit higher in values, especially in the winter R value. Winter R value is rating at 4 with that window. I was hoping for a 3.8, it actually exceeded it. And the other one was at 3.5. It's probably the most, in my opinion, the most valuable spec there. The next one would be the U value, because that's used to calculate that number. The doors are from 2 different suppliers, but they are the same exact door. Identical. Followed the specs very closely with that. The price, as you can see, is $31.60. Thank you. That's $31.65 difference, which is significant.
What does the SHGC stand for?
Okay, so that's the solar heat gain coefficient.
How much you being some training with it.
Right. And so that when you're looking, I was looking for a 0.48 or lower. So the solar heat gain coefficient is much better in bid number 2 than compared to bid 1.
The R value.
But the R value is compensating it, so they're both good windows. If we don't split hairs, they're both good windows, basically. They're different companies, but as you can see, they are both in that class, and that's what I was trying to achieve with this, was to stay in that high end of efficiency, no matter what brand of window was going in.
And the DLT?
That's visual light transparency.
Will that be higher or lower?
Higher is better. Higher is better. Again, bid number 1's value is higher. I think it's a slightly better window. They both have a limited lifetime warranty. They warranty the argon gas, the seal, which is how you can lose that gas. The seals around the window, the hardware, they're very comparable. And again, like I said, they both are called limited lifetime. Either way, I think they're a company.
Single home.
Yes, it's a single home. That's what I said, I'm afraid of that out there, right? Janet, you received a copy of I should have copied those before the meeting, if you want to see it and pass it over. So I guess we have to decide, we need to make a decision as well, as board members, how significant that $3,000 is. Only because I think bid number 1 has got a lot more experience with windows and doors. Although the doors, by the way, are going to be subcontracted, either Adams Glass or DS Specialties, so they will be installed by those firms. The windows will be installed by the contractors. There's 4 different types of windows that have to go in here. They're all going to, which is what was explained today when we contacted one of these contractors for details to the bid, which I hadn't even thought about. And I'm not sure if the other contractor has thought about that degree or not. And I think that speaks to the experience. So my gut tells me that the extra $2,000 we're spending.
Well, my concern with both of them is the workman's comp.
Yes, and that we're in the same boat with both of them. I think,
That's a problem for us.
well, I don't know. What my recommendation would be is to, we need to choose one of these contractors. And then I think we need to contact Nathan and find out what is our, just what is our need for us.
They don't have comp insurance?
Both of them use their help, they're both they're two main teams, both of these.
Okay.
And their other man is a subcontractor, and they have their own liability.
But it's
They're not employees,
Okay.
that's why they don't have workman's comp. They don't payroll.
But if they got hurt while doing this job, they're more liable?
Yes.
That's what we need to find out.
Well, that's what Mike told us.
That's what Mike tells us, I know.
We'll work on that, we would have to hire them, put them on the books. For the duration
Hire
of
them,
the
put on
job.
the books to take the deductions and everything out of there.
Well, that's what Mike.
Because you would employ, you would have them as an
No,
employee.
I agree, we should,
Covered
but I think we
under
should
workers' comp.
be clear about what we heard today
Yeah.
from Mike.
Yeah, I agree. That's an issue with either one of us. Yeah, maybe the others on this list that can schedule and some probably have employees who need it. If we actually have employees that are paying on payroll, I'm sure if they're not responsible. But in this case, neither one are.
Because that's why people, homeowners who come in and say they're replacing their roof, and I'm doing it myself, so they don't have to have workers' comp.
Well, would you have to
No.
have workers' comp? If you're a one-man show and you subcontract it, his contractor one said, he has his own liability insurance for himself. He doesn't have employees, but the subcontractor would have his own insurance. So I'm not understanding if it's a one-man show, why, how do you have workers' compensation on somebody who's not your employee? Okay, so then I'm trying to figure out why workers' comp is coming into this, because
I'm with you on that too.
subcontractors, you're contracting something out, you're not hiring them to be your employee to do the work. So that's where my concern of the workers' comp is. I think we need to get explicit confirmation of what this is about from Nikon.
If you have two subcontractors, do they need workers' comp?
Yeah, that's really what it was.
Yes.
If they're carrying each their own liability insurance.
I would say that if you look at both of these bids, both of them are subcontracting work now.
Absolutely.
And I would dare say that the specialties in the class has workers' compensation for their
I'm
employees.
sure.
Well, I'm sure
Yeah,
because they
I'm
have,
sure they do.
they have
They have
employees.
And if it came down to a case where everybody has to supply that, then they would have to supply the same information as well.
I think though the issue was, if I remember this conversation earlier, it's not correctly, is that these people do indeed work with other people, but they call them subcontractors to avoid workman's comp. And like I said, it's quite common to do that, but it's not.
So how do you prove that they're employees then versus a
Well,
subcontractor?
one of them, they're related, and the other two people.
And they both have separate liability.
And they have
insurance.
separate liability, but just, I'm only going from what Mike said.
No, I
I'm
know.
no expert, but he said you can't do it that way.
And that is
But the question is, does that cause a liability for the village? Is that?
That's
anything
my
to do
only
with us?
concern. That's my
Exactly,
concern, absolutely,
exactly.
that's my concern.
If they're not doing, as long as it's not a liability for the village anyway, that's really the only thing that matters.
And that's where I think we need to get confirmation from Nikon on this, because we've had this conversation before when we did the roofs. And we did some other,
Siding and stuff like that.
yeah, And if that's the case, I'm gonna guess that there's probably a lot of contractors out there that are subcontracting. So I would rather, I mean, I don't have a problem picking a contractor tonight and saying pending verification from NICOM on what this really entails. At least we've picked a contractor and can move forward when we get an answer from NICOM.
Well, I think what's going to, if I can just, a possibility here, is once we get an understanding from NICOM as to what is required, and the workers' compensation is going to cost each of these contractors, if they don't have it, it's going to cost them some dollars to provide this, if that is a requirement that we have. That's going to change these bids.
Yeah, definitely.
Drastically.
So,
Well, they may even choose to remove their
decline.
bid, decline their bid.
so I think I would feel more comfortable, and I know we've discussed this about picking one or looking at one, but in light of this, looking for a response from NICOM as to how we want to do this. I think I would like to wait until we have a clear description of what we need from NICOM and how we want to handle this. If we want to pick one, but I think it's going to change the cost of these things.
Well, I think, yeah, I think the first thing is to find out what does it mean for the village. That's great. It might be, well, they shouldn't be doing that, but if the village has no liability, if the general contractor is responsible for it, as an example, in which case we would fine. And if it's like, no, without that, the village is liable, then we have to rethink what we're going to do with that.
So what's your vote? What would you like to see?
Well, like I said, my gut feeling, if I was doing this, if I was spending my own money, I would have to go with the bid number one, not just for the little tiny bit, the marginal quality advantage in the window, but I think there's a huge amount of experience in installing windows. That's, I think, necessary, especially with different windows that have in this building, different. Some have to be replacements, some have to be new construction and reframed. That's my recommendation.
You want them all to look the same,
Yeah, exactly.
and they're all different, and they're looking at different sizes, and the way that the windows are put in here, that's going to be a job in itself.
What do you want to keep with the integrity of the building, the age of the building? You know, not something that's really going to,
Is integrity left in this building?
well, yeah.
It's the office.
There
There's probably enough oil in the bird here to start her own,
Mayor, just don't do any of it.
yeah, just go, I know, I've seen that. Yeah. Okay, your recommendation, you want to go forward, pick one? On approval with Nikon?
Yes. My recommendation is bid number one, for $26,015.28, with a contingency that we, to speak with Nikon and approve of for this and, the subcontract.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this?
What are the 12 number windows here?
19,
18 windows? How many doors?
2, 3. And you got two humongous windows like this one here.
It's got to be, see if you see it includes a lot of additional work for the small business.
When would they start this work, Tom?
That I don't know. I think that it would start this fall.
The
Exactly.
lead time would be, if I remember the description correctly, it would be 2 months on the doors and probably 6 weeks on the windows.
Yeah, to receive the materials.
You're talking now.
Really fast time.
Would they be doing
replacing.
that in January? Would we have them do
I
this
think
kind of work in
windows-
January?
I have windows put in my house,
It would be somewhat dependent on weather, of course.
Yeah.
but this is more, this is more involved than what was in my house.
Right, so
Yeah.
you take this thing out in the heart of January, and you've got an issue, you're gonna be pumping a heck of a lot of fuel out there.
Yeah,
Really, is it that critical to get it replaced till
Well, it's
the
better
weather
than
changes again?
that.
right?
That's the way it will
well,
go.
that's
We're
what
gonna
I'm
get the girls
thinking.
star hearts.
Well, then, doing it in
Well, I guess
I'm not sure if both these are 6-week lead times in windows either, though. We're going from one supplier to until this next, but, yeah. I'm not sure.
Even when mine was ordered, it took about 4 weeks to get them. And that was on the second.
I guess what the reason I'm
The
wondering
one I just did at campus 3 weeks.
is, can we find out the answer from Nikon first? Is there really a rush to select that one or
Right,
the
we're
other
gonna be stuck in the middle
tonight?
of
Can we
winter.
get an answer, or are
Well,
we, or,
The only difference is if you wait till the next meeting to make that decision, then you've lost 4 weeks of
well,
lead
that's why I
time.
asked the question. If we're not starting until January or February, then,
You
But
still
we
need
don't
to-
know
you still
that.
need to order materials, so the sooner we can have somebody order materials, the sooner we can get it scheduled.
Yeah,
and
the
get
ones
started.
that's nice, they can start.
I mean, you look at it, if we got an answer from
Yeah,
Nikon
it's been October.
This
It's
week.
not-
and awarded the bid, and they get it ordered, you're looking at the beginning of December.
Yep.
It's gonna be 76 degrees tomorrow.
You don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, it could be
Yeah,
20 below
I
in
mean,
December, and they may have to
I've
put it
seen
out to
green-
February, but we don't know.
Green grass on Christmas Eve, I mean, you know, you just don't know.
Well, both are aware that we want to do it as soon as possible.
Here's another thought, and I know, and I agree with you, these windows have been here forever and a day, but you wait, this quote's not gonna be valid come January,
No,
and you're,
Right, no, but I mean, you can still get the supplies in, but I'm not in favor of, you know, if they don't get it until January, we're already into our bitter temperatures to take this window out. First of all, we got 2 employees in here.
I know, but here's the other thing, where are you gonna store them? We just went through this, where are you gonna store them? It's, well, I'm
Yeah,
not
they
in
need-
favor of
they need-
doing that if we're not, I'm not in favor of ordering them and storing them until spring, if that's the case, I'd rather wait and do it in the spring and risk something happening to them, and now you're looking at $10,000 worth of broken glass. That is now our responsibility. I'm not in favor of doing that at all,
It
because
just
I don't think
seems-
it's safe.
precarious time of year to be ordering windows and possibly have to store them somewhere depending on the weather. I mean, I'd love it if we had a mild December, that'd be great, and we could get it done, but.
well, they do install windows all winter long around here. I mean, they really do. You see projects going on through the winter.
Well, I know.
February.
And then you're also looking at the contractor's availability in the spring.
I don't think we should really get hung up on that. I think we need to move forward, yeah, exactly. And then if things fall into place and they get ordered and they can put them in there, great. If for some reason the weather is atrocious and they can't, it will get delayed some. And they will have to figure out what to do with the materials at that point. Maybe the supplier will hold them for a period of time.
That's true.
I'd rather that be on the contractor and the supplier versus us. I just don't.
But just
think that's a
in regards to this discussion we're having, I mean, we started this
How long ago?
2 months ago, at least.
At least.
We sent these requests out the first time, and we were just, I think we were giving them 4 weeks, and it wasn't quite enough time for them to turn the request in, because they have to depend on the dealers, giving them prices on materials, etc. So we gave them an extension, and we ended up pushing it to this meeting, and that's, we lost a lot of time. And in hindsight, we probably should have attacked it earlier, but we were waiting to see what the other improvements were going to cost us. Here we are. But I agree, we do get into like, what it means for those. It could, I don't know. I don't understand that.
Well, I'm pretty sure that if we contact Nikon tomorrow, we'll get an answer tomorrow. They've been pretty good about it.
And I would think that's a fairly common question. It's not something, some obscure thing that's just popped up. I mean, I would think that that's a common question.
I've never heard of needing to have workman's comp when you're having a contractor come in for their.
So again, it's probably something very common.
I really don't. I listened to Mike's explanation today, and I understood what he was trying to tell me, but I still don't. In this case, I don't really get it. I could see if there was a firm that was coming in here, and they had more than one or more than one employee, whatever, and they were paid employees. I can understand that they are required to
They
have.
should have it, yeah.
Yes, they are required to have a workman's comp.
Doesn't do village have to be insured as a co-insured? Covered as well?
I wish Mike were here because he did explain it well when he was talking to us about it. We just don't really understand the details.
I know,
And if this really does
And with
fall
all-
in that situation that he was describing.
right. And
But
with
again,
all-
they
with all due
should be
respect-
able to.
With all due respect to Mike, I would like to
Oh,
get a
absolutely.
second opinion.
Right.
Okay, how do you wish to proceed?
Well, again, I'm asking if we would choose one under that contingency and go from there. If it turns out that there's an issue for the village, then I think that we're gonna need to table it and redo this. Again, looking for a spring installation, and you might get a couple of these other contractors. Well, most of them are into summer, so you might get some of the.
I almost have to believe that some of these contractors that did not bid are concerned about the workers' compensation.
Well, no, 'cause I spoke with,
Okay.
no, I spoke with them.
Okay.
They're booked until midsummer. They said if we were doing this next fall, they would bid. It's fortunate that they're not busy. No, I made phone calls to every one of these, except for John.
Well, that's gonna be sense because the insurance.
Okay.
All right. So we need to get a response from Nikon. If your pleasure is to choose one of the two bidders this evening, contingent upon Nikon's recommendation, or Nikon's requirements, or their recommendation. Generally, contractors' bids are good for 30 to 45 days, but we can do it on the contingency that this workers' compensation issue is resolved by Nikon's recommendation.
Right.
I mean, I see where you're going. You need to have the stuff ordered if we're going to start, sometime this year. The materials have to be ordered in advance. So, and I agree with Ken, I don't think we want to store them here.
No, and it'd be unfortunate to have to wait because the price will go up. And we can,
What's your recommendation on your formal resolution?
for a motion,
Please.
can I make a motion to award the bid number one, $26,015.08. With contingency that we get approval from Nikon that there is no liability involved to the village for a general contractor having a subcontractor without an employee.
Got all that, Mary?
Yeah.
Wanted
Got it.
to watch the tapes and everything. Okay, have a second to that motion?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this? Everyone realizes that it's the village's prerogative to accept or deny whatever bids come in. Just to put that out there. Okay? Have a motion, has it seconded? If there's no further discussion, we'll go ahead. Take a roll call, one unit, please.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich. Aye. Trustee McFetrich. Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett. Aye. Mayor Martin.
Aye. All right, we have some, run-of-the-mill businesses to take care of here. We have a resolution of street edition, October 17th, 2016. Whereas, is it Copan Lane is an existing road located in the village of Champlain, open to the public usage, and whereas the village of Champlain desires to make Copan Lane a part of its road system, and whereas the village of Champlain agrees to all maintenance and repair responsibilities for this roadway, therefore be it resolved that the Village of Champlain Board of Trustees at the regular meeting held Monday, October 17th, 2016 hereby approves the addition of Coton Lane to its official road system, being described as follows. A, beginning at Walnut Street and ending at a dead end. B, the length of the road to nearest 100th mile being 0.08 mile.
Is that the architect? Is that what you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
It didn't have a name before?
Yeah, but it was never, I don't know that we ever formally accepted it, did we?
Well, it might have been at some point, but it wasn't on the Clinton County roads, my roads that we have. I attempted to put it on my street and it didn't. The reason being that we didn't have an resolution. They didn't tell me that until this we need resolutions added to it. Right. It's a formality.
Moved by Angel.
New Village Road, and it's in French.
All they fence over there. But that, it does, I mean, it has a, it goes in the county.
So it was always known as.
Yeah, and we take care of, there's a hydrant up there, I mean, just, I guess there's no paperwork saying that we accepted it.
Do you know how to pronounce it?
There's a reimbursement issue too, don't we?
Yeah, Okoton, yeah.
The reimbursement.
It means
number.
cotton.
Should have maximum.
No. I just don't pronounce it.
Means cotton and all there is up
I
there.
don't know how to.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Okay, need a motion?
Make a motion to accept the street edition of Croton Lane.
Have a second? Is there any further discussion here? Afraid to ask. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a, okay, on the second part here, I skipped over approval of water line or for water line on Ashline Drive. Back when we were discussing this water project back, and this was one of the additions that we looked at. We talked to the people who live on Ashline Drive, and this was one of the things that they requested, that the water line be connected instead of a dead end. There's quite a congregation of people in that little spot, and their water very often, because it dead ends there, it has a tendency to sour quite quickly, if I could use that term. By extending this line around the end of Ashline Drive and around to South Street, where the new water line is going in there, and connecting there, that will keep the water circulating and provide for a much fresher resource for these residents. It was originally listed as an alternative. I can't remember the exact figure, but I believe it was in the vicinity of $33,400 to run that connection from where the pipe ends around the corner and then reconnect back to South Street. Since the budget for the water project, as I mentioned here earlier, the budget for the water project has is almost guaranteed that none of these alternatives are going to get done. First was the school, second was out here, from the village office down to Elm Street. The third alternative was from Mill Street to Willow Street. The fourth was Ashline Drive, and the fifth was Cedar Street. Am I right? Okay. Was the connection from Cedar to Route 9, Main Street. Back when we set up our reserve funds 2 years ago, we put 50,000, am I right, Juanita? 50,000 in the general fund for road construction due to this project. Am I right there? 50,000. We set that aside for unexpected expenses that pertain to this village shared water project. And I think that fits this criteria very well. So what I'm asking the board is your approval to expend these funds when it is necessary. I don't know that it's going to happen this year.
Actually, highway capital projects is 60,000.
Okay, I don't know if it's going to happen. It should happen later on this year. If they can continue to dig, they've got a few spots here, East Street, Eden Lane. But I've talked to the contractor, and as soon as we give them our approval to extend this line, they will work it into the schedule and do it as soon as they can.
So, first you had, what was the first one? The
School.
The school. And
That was extending the water line from the hydrant around to the back of the school. That was about 175,000. Second was this line out here, from the village office down Route 9, Main Street, down to almost Paquette Park.
And how much was that?
That was about 240,000. Mostly because of the utilities that are buried along that line.
Okay.
The third was Mill Street, across the bridge, Mill Street, up to Willow Street, where they're going to put a pressure tank, or pressure, not a tank, but put that in there. I believe that was, I can get these, I have it in the office. I believe that was in the area of about 210,000. Mostly because the utilities and the sidewalks, tree removal, and everything else that would have to be involved in.
Road protection, I think it's for sidewalks, you're gonna burn the curl on Main Street, I think it's changes a lot of things.
Okay, and the Ashland loop was 33,000?
Yeah. And Cedar Street was about the same. Maybe a little less, because it was the length of pipe there, but you had to go under Route 9.
How are we going to deal with our Main Street line if we can't get that financing? I'm still hopeful. I'm hopeful that the blasting comes in low, but
Even that's not going to give us enough money to do this.
even that isn't what the contingency fund and lower towards the end. So what are we gonna do if we have issues with that line? Is the question. It can't be under the project. It still needs to be
Well,
done if there's a problem with it.
if because of the increased pressure, this line breaks, then we know that it's going to somewhere. As long as, it was in my conversations with Matt, if the increased pressure is going to cause some issues here in the village with old lines and lines that are prone to break, we fix them with the van and the labor and stuff like that, then that can be applied to the project until that year is up.
I think 2 on the curve, can I? 2 on the curve.
It's the warranty we have from the contractor that everything is in place. And it starts at the beginning or at the end? Okay, so when the job is
The
complete,
final completion, the difference between
when everybody signs off on this project, we haven't used it.
No,
If
we
there's
haven't
funds
in
that,
place.
if there's funds that we can work it into that.
But there wasn't any contingency.
It's only talking a couple $100, we're not talking, $200,000. We'll take the fixes. Well, I agree.
Right, so, and we all know reality here with that, so why would we take 33,000 and put in something that is not as critical as this is going to become?
Well, that's why I'm discussing that.
Right, well, that's why I was writing everything down, because it's,
I don't think we have the outstanding funding right now. I don't think it's gonna get taken care of under this project.
right, but
Well,
how
while
do we
they're here-
justify spending 33,000 for how many folks?
Get that whole block right there.
Right, but versus Cedar Street, if we pick and choose,
Could probably do them both. Both small projects.
but then what are we going to do if we spend $60,000 on those two and we have major blowouts here? How are we gonna do that?
We'll have to fix them as we go,
Just like we had in the past.
just like we have in the past.
Now, don't forget, right here, next door, there's gonna be a main vault right here. So that'll be coming in at 55 pounds. Right now, like right here, we're at 60. That'll be coming in at 55 here next door. That's where one main pressure vault is. So as you go down, it's gonna gain some. So really,
But we're already 60 down.
right now, here we're 60 right now. After, we're gonna be about 93 pounds here. Next door is gonna have the pressure reducer next door.
Yeah.
And that will be, those pressure reducers are set to 55.
So if I'm
So
understanding,
in reality, it should be a
correctly,
little bit less
right, reality it should be less down below.
once they put the reducers in.
So I might be worried about too much for nothing.
It's just a thought, just so you know.
Yeah.
2-inch bypass opens at 55. If it gets down as low as 45, like a fire draw, the main pressure reducer opens.
Yeah.
Can't get below 45. But it should be regulated at 55 here. Every 2.31 feet is 1 pound. So as you get down, you may gain another 8 pounds, whatever. But in reality, that's what it is right now. It's 60 here. As you go down, you're still gaining that extra pressure.
Right, that's what I'm
So
saying.
it's gonna be regulated to 55 right next door, so it's actually gonna be 5 pounds less after than it is as of right now.
All right. Well, that's-
Just so.
Yeah, with
heads
that
up.
explanation, I'm not as freaked out about it. I thought we were.
Because that's
I thought we
inside
were
the bowl.
doing that.
And then, I don't know if you've had any breaks in the front here, but I know they've been down by the phone company. When I started, it was one by the tree by the Thompsons. And the pressure reducer is supposed to go right here by next door.
We had one up here.
So based on that, we shouldn't be any
Did you?
different than we are now as
So
far as
Mike,
breaks.
remind
Not
me
that it
why
doesn't
we
need to be placed in
prioritized
there.
Ashline above Cedar.
This is something-
We've always talked about Ashline being more important.
There's more, I mean, there's more, actually, there's more probably houses there. You've got quite a few that are right on ARC as well.
Oh, that's true.
Because you have the ARC, there's quite a few that live there, and
I know we always
This
prioritized
is-
that one
is
as
it-
higher.
they're gonna be coming
Well,
up
it is, that's
south.
number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as that priority list, I mean, we kind of looked at our streets. As far as the whole list, like number 1 was the school line, but
Well,
that was,
until we learn more
that was in
about
the
that.
realm of the project.
Right.
Somewhere in the town, somewhere in the village.
That was the only one in the town. The last 4 were all located in the
But
village.
Ashland Drive also includes Patricia Lane.
Yeah,
Right, the ARC, there's quite a few that
yeah.
are there.
I'm very supportive of spending that money on Ashland and Patricia, especially if we can use this.
Well, I think the other part of it is that the contractor's here and they're gonna
Yeah.
do the work, so that's probably gonna cost us less money as compared to waiting and doing it later.
Well, they'll hook it when they go by,
Yeah.
whenever we say that yes or no, if we can do, have to do it now or wait till spring, they're gonna be coming up South Street, and they're gonna be coming to tie into the end of, so they're gonna tie it, they'll tie it at the same time, keep going, where you don't have to remobilize to that spot.
Right, as compared to waiting and then doing it a year from now and putting it out to bid to do that work, you're gonna have separate bid, separate contract, it's gonna be increased.
Because they will be going back on the end of South Street when they get Eden Lane done. They wanna do that short piece of pocket, they wanna hook pocket from by the Molson the hydrant through an 11, so that way they can get that 12-inch coming off the hill to pressurize that way instead of having to pull it all the way around by Miramar or East Street now that it's open. They wanna get that done. They're gonna be adding at least a section, they've got a hydrant right now up by Red Harvey's trailer, and then there's a house, the first house on the left side, their well's dry. They got a pipe broke underground, they have no water.
So you
So,
haven't got parked on that?
no, that's not passed yet. Once the health department approves that, I'm gonna hook them a temporary line off the hydrant, PEX line, to get them water for that. It's
So
not-
they're waiting for test results.
Right.
Okay.
So they're gonna do one more stretch at least and put another hydrant or a valve
Weeks ago I heard that.
to get them up and going, and then it just depends, I don't know if they're gonna keep going down, Ashline Drive, South Street. If they keep going down South Street, then kind of brought it up so they know, because if they do South Street this fall and no one decides on it, then they're gonna have to go back there later. So if they do that this fall, they'll probably do the tie-in right at that time. Whether they do it this fall or next spring, I don't know, but just trying to get prepared in case, in the next 3 weeks before the next board meeting, if you don't decide and they do come up and they're already past that, then you gotta go back to that spot later and tie in. I don't know if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do, I understand it clearly.
Just trying to get it lined up, and I don't know
It's cheaper to do now.
when it would be. It's all, a lot of it depends on how much we push them, I guess. But the biggest thing right now for us is to make sure that people that have no water, get those water to those people. That's,
Yeah.
that's number one right now.
It would almost be easier, or easy for us, to run the short connection between Cedar, that fire hydrant at the end.
The hardest
Dig
part,
across there.
the
Hardest
hardest,
part is going across Route 9.
you gotta bore it. We got no choice, has to be bored, you won't open cut.
Just to see experience here, the whole project, just to get it.
And that's why it's such a short run, it's costing more to do the bore. It's gonna bore under the state road. No choice. Fiber optic. Yeah, it's all, it's all buried right there.
So this was just to prepare you, get your approval. If this is how we want to do this, I think it's more expedient to do this when they're putting in the water line down South Street and just connect around the corner of Ash Line, just connect in there.
And how firm is this 33,000 price?
That's the price that they put on the bid. On the original bid for the project.
Which is why I think it should be rebidding at a later date.
Usually what they do, is what we're told is when they do alternates for a project, usually they say, I don't know, Troy, you say the numbers usually less, because they already got the project already there.
Yeah.
They can put it down for a little bit less than having to remobilize and having somebody come in. That's what we're originally told. Whether they're not, I don't know, but
Can, but will they?
that's how they, well, that number that they have in it is what we're quoted, so that's what.
Engineers will make them follow that bid.
Right.
It's too bad that this, there wasn't enough money left here to do all of these alternates. I mean, you're talking probably 500,000, about 600,000.
Use that million instead of putting it towards debt, because it's interest free.
I don't know that the town would approve that.
Right, but we're doing all the town part of the projects, but not the village parts, which is
That's why
an
it's
issue
a
here.
75-25% split, because they're getting the larger percentage of benefits in cost. But
Should we look together?
I still think we're gonna have to do a short piece on Main Street by Mill Street.
Pressure problem, we're still getting a lot.
There's part of that, up to that valve,
asbestos,
that's gonna have to be abandoned and it's gonna have to be changed. I already know that. That'll be something else that's gonna have to go into it.
If I idle myself, I'm just thinking.
okay? Motion to approve this,
So moved.
have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Trombley. Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. Okay, let's see, we've done the bid, we've done the approval, we need to look at a request for a wastewater credit. Mike, do you wanna handle this one?
Yeah. Mrs. Meyer down on Cedar Street. She had a significant usage. The water was 46,000 gallons, yeah. I called her, I went down to see her, and she had a garden hose outside that was split and had been running. So we shut it off, and then she's been on here. It's charged 46,000 gallons, and the average for the last 3 bills was 8,000. She's looking to see if she can get wastewater, she paid the water, but get the wastewater credit for the difference, which is $38,000. About 182.40.
You saw the split hose and it wasn't.
Yes. Actually, the bill was originally higher, but when we changed the meter out, we wrote the inside reading instead of the outside reading accidentally, so she originally got like a $1,200 bill. Until I corrected it. I had the reading written down again, because sometimes the old style reader, sometimes they didn't match. And I always tell them, you know, if there's an outside old analog reader, that's the reading. But in this case, the first time when they wrote it down on the sheet, when we changed the meter out, they were on the sheet, they wrote the inside, so the outside, so it looked like she used 104,000 gallons, which she thought what we had billed her for, but it was 46 is what it was actually.
But did she actually receive that high bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I called her, and I said, because when Mary was going over with me, I said, oh, I don't remember that, I remember being 46,000, so I called her. She said, actually, I just got my mail, so she was opening up and I was on the phone with her. She goes, oh my God. Don't panic, I don't want you to have a heart attack. We'll just, I know what happened. It was an honest mistake, so we know what happened.
I make a motion that we give Teresa Marr a sewer credit of $182.40.
I'll second.
Second. Is there any further discussion on this?
Yeah, are these your figures?
Yes.
She's actually already paid the bill. It was $490, $480, is what the bill was, and she did pay it.
Now, as far as discussion, I'll just point out that it does meet the criteria, and like witness the water did not enter the wastewater.
Okay, there's no further discussion, we have a motion, we have a second. Juanita?
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee McFetrich.
Aye.
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Mayor Martin.
Aye. You've all been copied with, oh, there's one more, sorry. It's not on the agenda, I'm sorry. This insurance services contract with municipalities for highway departments, October 2016 to October 2021. This is a 5-year contract with the town of Plattsburgh. We have signed these in the past. In fact, I think the last one we approved and signed was with the county. But apparently the town of Plattsburgh requires a separate motion. It's a pretty standard thing here about borrowing equipment either from them or they borrowing equipment from another municipality. It's the same type of contract that we signed with the county last year, the year before, just as, so everybody understands that if they need a piece of equipment, they can borrow it with an operator or without an operator. The responsibility is spelled out here. It's just a shared issue. So, but the town of Plattsburgh apparently has a separate contract they ask that we approve this. With your approval, I'll sign it and send it back to them, and Mike will sign it and send it back to them. We'll just move on. So I need a motion to sign this.
I make a motion that you sign that contract.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
All right, is there any further discussion? 5 years. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Sign this at the end of the mail tomorrow. Mike, you can sign it for you. Okay, if there's no further business, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.